Your feeble skills are no match for the power of the dark side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Star Wars Power Half Hour right here on the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is David, and I'm your host today, and this is the podcast where we talk about comics. I've got my my new favorite coffee here with me, and I am ready to record a little bit. We've actually got quite a few comics here from the store. My good buddy Lane, who is one of the co-hosts of an unexpected podcast, Talking Tolkien. We were out at his place a few weeks ago now, helping him build his studio. So we did some framing, and he turned me on to this coffee, and this is a Starbucks mocha. I never thought that I go to a Starbucks and I'm confused. I have no idea how to go into that place and order. You know, it's like I want a medium. I don't even know what these things are. You want a grande, a venti? It's like don't they all mean large in different languages? I've never understood it. So I can't order there. Basically I've gone with friends. It's like, what are you getting? Okay, that sounds good. I'll just take one of those too. Yeah, sure. Cold brew. Cool. Pike Place or Pike Park or whatever the heck that was. I don't know. But I do like this one. This is actually pretty good. I went out and bought some, and it's kind of like a chocolate sort of infused coffee. So, nice little sip. And that's pretty darn good. So thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's kind of go over what we went and got at the store. Now, first and foremost, I had set in my calendar that today was the release date of the next Age of Resistance comic. The next Age of Resistance comic doesn't drop until the 28th, I believe, and that is going to be 2 issues, if I'm remembering correctly. It should be Hux and Poe. So I was way off. Still got a couple of weeks for that. But I did go online and kind of see what was coming out, and I was like, yeah, I'll check. I like going in. We just have a very small comic store in town, but we're the town here that didn't let downtown die like so many, towns did. And it's still kind of a small-ish town. College, there's some college campus here. And they didn't, it's a big commuter town now, but, kind of kept away a lot of bigger, I don't know, your row of Walmarts and strip malls and cash out places and pawn shops. So, attaboy, small town. Thank you. But anyway, we've got we actually have a record store. We've got a couple of really good coffee shops, a cigar shop, which I like going to just to get a nice cigar every now and again. And then we have this small comic book shop. They get all the new issues, and they have some backlogged issues, but not like a ton. So, Wednesdays I get off of work and I go down and kind of peruse the rack and see what I can find. So here's kind of what I got. So first and foremost, got issue 4 of the Galaxy's Edge comic books. I have some of the issues of this. I actually haven't started reading these yet. I will, but issue 4 came out. I don't know if issue 4 came. I think issue 4 actually came out last week, maybe. But I got it. I didn't get it last week because last week was the Age of Resistance special. And I should have bought it then, but I didn't. That's what it was. I also perused through some of the back issue bins and got this is issue 3. It's the Star Wars Annual. So I'm going to look into that a little bit. And then I also picked up the Star Wars issue 70 here. Rebels and Rogues, Honeymooners? ? I just love the cover of this thing, and I think I kind of talked about this in maybe the last episode. So we've got Han and Leia, and they look like they're getting ready to enter this room, and they're just like, I don't even want to deal with this crap. that's the looks they have on their faces, because you have a couple of I don't know, dignitaries, and there's this little horned dog thing. There's this droid with a really weird hand, like looking at them. So, and they're just looking like, I don't even want to deal with this crap. Leia has the biggest eye roll in the history of man on the cover of this. So I'm going to be jumping into that eventually and just kind of checking it out. But I don't really know much about that series. Unfortunately, I could say that about a lot of things. Because again, comic books are not my strong suit. But again, that's kind of why I'm doing this show. Now, what we're gonna go over today, I found the premise of this particular comic book to be really, really interesting. So the title is Target Vader, and issue 1 dropped back in July, I think early July, and then the second issue just dropped today. So I just wanted to crack into this and see what the heck it was about. And basically the premise is you have this group that are selling weapons to the rebellion. And, the Emperor sends Vader out to stop them. So he's wreaking havoc. So this alliance, this faction, hires a group of bounty hunters to target Vader. Oh, can you believe it? The premise is in the name. So they're out to kill Vader, and essentially we're talking about an ex-Imperial and some other familiar faces from the franchise. So I think the premise sounds excellent. Obviously, you get a little bit more of Vader. The cover art for issue 1. We've got our main character, and once I get in here, I'll pick out names because I don't remember his name right off the top of my head. But human or humanoid, he's had a rough time because he's got like the Terminator ripped off part of the face, and it's like this metal skull with a red eye. So they put the Terminator in Star Wars. Apparently. And then we've got a cast. We've got the pig guard from Jabba's palace. I don't remember what they were called. We've got one of those creatures that, I'm just forgetting a lot of creature names. This particular one was in Solo, a Star Wars story, he was the pilot. I'm spacing on the name, on even the name, but he was a pilot who got spoilers shot on their mission. And then we have Dengar for some reason, and then some other masked, cowled kind of a person. But we do have the large face of Vader here, and it's actually pretty cool. Front cover. That was issue 1. Issue 2, again, we have a full Vader. His lightsaber's out, looking pretty BA. We have this the Terminator again to the left, and Dengar to the right. So very post-apocalyptic looking kind of view of things. So again, this should be pretty interesting. So not a ton of Star Wars news, because sometimes I like to, impart a little Star Wars news. However, season 2 of Resistance, the trailer dropped. Coffee break. Now, I did not get super well involved in a lot of the cartoon series. I've watched, several seasons of Clone Wars. I pretty much know what happened in Clone Wars, but that's been more up to some reading than watching. But I've physically watched several seasons. I believe we've got quite a few seasons of that. I am right now cycling through Rebels, and I actually really, really like Rebels. I didn't know that I'd like it as much as I do. I think I probably prefer it over Clone Wars, but I had zero interest in going into Resistance. I mean, I will probably once Disney Plus drops. More than likely, I won't watch until then. And I know that's, I've heard some people have that same sentiment. I'll get into it. Of course, Clone Wars, all of that was on Netflix for a while. And I had it in my list or queue and just never got into it. But I will finish Clone Wars eventually. and I will finish Rebels eventually, and I'll probably finish Resistance. You guessed it, eventually. You're not a Star Wars fan. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I do love all the media, but there's a lot. There's a lot coming out. And on the main show's episode that will drop this following Monday, me and the Darth are going to talk a little bit about potential Star Wars burnout. We have a lot of different stuff coming out here on the horizon. I haven't even finished A Crash of Fate or the Myths and Fables that just dropped last week. I haven't even finished those. I've been trying to go through Alphabet Squadron again so we can do an episode on that. But, by and large, there's been so much coming out recently. Thrawn came out recently. Black Spire's getting ready to drop at the end of the month. So there's so much, man. There's so much. And it can be a bit overwhelming when you work and you don't have as much time. But I'll eventually get to it all. And then we'll talk about it right here on the podcast, either the half hour or the full show. Again, this podcast drops Thursday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the main show drops Monday mornings, you guessed it, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you follow our podcast wherever you get podcasts, and make sure to follow us on Twitter. That's just, I think the handle is just TC Plan Podcast, or you can just search the Contiengecy Plan Podcast on there. I try and post in there as much as I can, retweet and follow back everybody I can. You can also check us out on Facebook, or if you'd like to send us your Star Wars story, you can definitely message it on Facebook, or send us an email, tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. That's our email. We also have our Patreon, which I've been trying to upload some backlogged a Dinner with the Patron series. It's just extra episodes, just a little bit of extra backstory into us and lore into us. Maybe not necessarily always Star Wars talk, but we'll probably build that up, eventually as we get more time and potential interest. So if you'd like to support the podcast, it's a great place to do it. Let's go ahead and get on to the show. No, I'm actually going to talk about both issue 1 and issue 2 here. So we're gonna try and blow past this and try and we'll see if it's truly a half hour. Okay. So let's get in here. We join some bounty hunters here on Fikari, the Lower Bay Docks, the Outer Rim. Think you brought enough guns, Halak? Honestly, no, 3 low-level clans got hit last week. 3, and all by him. No survivor, Zero, none. Price of doing business with the Hidden Hand and the Benefit. They pay for silence and pay through shadows and fronts to keep that silence. We don't know them. They don't know us. Perfect deal. So we're introduced to the name of the Hidden Hand. Now, the Hidden Hand is essentially the overarching sort of what do you want to call it? The group that is purchasing all these weapons. Now, we'll go on a little bit here before I it will explain a little bit more on who they are. But we get an early mention of the name. However, our friendly group here start to be attacked until it's down to Hollick. Yeah, so we're down to Hollick. Mist is forming. He's shouting for his friends, and all of a sudden his blaster just crushes. And a shadow comes upon him. Where is the Hidden Hand? I don't know them. Nobody knows them. They don't use names, just credits. They buy silence, loyalty. Please, you have to believe me. I don't know anything. I swear I don't know. No! And then we have just an epic full panel here of Vader. Just, he explodes everything and says, I believe you. This is a ruthless Vader. And by the artwork, he's very slimmed down. He's not as bulky and obtrusive as sometimes you see him. He looks powerful. He looks strong. He looks like someone who's just going in to rip and get everything done. So pretty cool. Then we have a little sidebar with Papa Palpatine. Another dead end. The hidden hand must be crushed. And basically, we kind of get here that the Emperor's giving Vader these commands. You got to find this hidden hand. They have to be destroyed. They're smuggling weapons to the rebellion. A syndicate from the Empire. Smuggling weapons is one thing, but selling those weapons to the rebellion? And then we also show another character who's sort of listening into this conversation. We'll get back to him here in a moment. Now we are at, we're actually on Coruscant. Level 1313, BGRT's Tavern and Spirits. So we have a bounty hunter here. He comes in, checks his weapons at the door, and goes to find what he calls the worst of the worst. Passed out on a table, we're introduced to one of our main characters, the Terminator, a.k.a., this is an interesting name, Beilert, B-E-I-L-E-R-T, Beilert Valance. Failure of the Empire, now a failure of the Bounty Hunters Guild. So, former Imperial and also a bounty hunter. Apparently, Valance stole some bounties from multiple bounty hunters, and he has laid a plan to get them all in one room. But they don't know this, so once everybody starts coming in and pulling guns, we see Valance's weapon here, and it's this. He's got these enhanced hands, and they just seem to be spitting fire. Okay, cool. So he just basically mows everybody down. And, the funny thing is he mows everybody down with fire hands, but then there's still just a bunch of people just, whatever, bounty hunters chilling. And he yells out, anyone else? And lays down some credits at the bar. He said, the little droid says, for the mess? Nah, for the next round. And we see this creature again who was listening in on Vader. He's got his little slanty eyes. He's like, I wonder about this guy. So Valance is going back to his ship, which is an interesting design. I'll get more to that once we get to a full panel. We are at Docking Bay 21, and it is called the Broken Wing. You can stop following me now, pal. This is the end of the line. Pulls his blaster and turns around. And we have this, I don't remember what the heck these are called. I really wish I remembered more creatures. That's another weakness I have, I guess. I come in peace, and more importantly, with money. And he has this little suitcase full of credits. And more where this came from. Talk. My name is Guai. And I'm just a messenger for the hidden hand. Pass. You've been stealing bounties, Valance. You must have heavy debt if you're willing to break the bounty hunter's code like that. Tonight won't be the last time your own kind will turn on you. Fortunately for you, my employers like rule breakers. They wish to set you free. They've assembled a team for a simple mission. Do the job, and these credits will erase your debt. And all you have to do is kill a man. Dun, 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 dun. Valance isn't interested. However, eventually our friend here, Guai, says the target is Darth Vader. And Valance is all in. Tell me about this team. Avengers assemble! Copyright. So we go over the team here in the next few panels. We've got Hana, who's one of our pig guards. Best tracker in the business. She's the bounty hunter who found the elusive Betha Baldin, slaughtered him and all his guards single-handedly, and may or may not have eaten their remains. Fantastic. Urk. I mean, literally, it's just URRR''K. Urk. Sniper. Don't know what she wants or where she comes from. I don't trust her at all. But she can kill a target from half a planet away. Chow Fein. Greatest slicer in the galaxy, and possibly insane. R919. One-time Jedi hunter who never retired. Cheesy. I like a little cheese ball. And last but not least, Dengar. We've met as he socks him on the jaw. Still upset about the rallying job. Spare parts. Is there a problem? Yeah, my third rule. And as he uses fire hands to completely obliterate the droid, says no droids. So this is interesting. So yeah, I mean, a true like Jedi Hunter droid it could be pretty valuable, but in this case, Valance says, Valance, we needed him. He was a liar. He was no Jedi killer. What he was, though, was up to his bolts in debt to the Hutts. I'm assuming your bosses don't want us or you tracked by rival syndicates. I mean, that's why you hired this pile of trash, right? None of us answer to anything except money. Yes, that's correct. Let's go kill Darth Vader. It's just that simple. And then we return to Vader. So Vader's just, he's on a mission. He's basically just killing bounty hunters. None of them know anything about this syndicate. But he's just trying to get information. And then we flash to our final panels here. Felio Asteroid Belt, the Outer Rim. Message received from our operative. The bounty hunters are on the hunt for Vader. And, excellent, with Vader out of the picture, nothing will stand in the way of the... I read that in the wrong order. With Vader out of the picture, nothing will stand in the way of the Hidden Hands weapons supply. Nothing will stand in the way of... the Rebellion, to be continued. So the Hidden Hand is the Rebellion. Another faction of the Rebellion stockpiling weapons. Issue dose. And I gotta say, I think that these are paced really well. One of my biggest gripes about comics is they seem too short. These seem just long enough to satisfy me. I'm really, really surprised about that, but I have to say they really have just enough in here to satisfy me for one issue. So that's really nice. Flashback. Father? Yes, my boy. Boy. Grandfather was a miner all his days, and you've been one your whole life. Will I be a miner my whole life too, Daddy? I'm proud to be one, of course, but our people mine these hills for generations as slaves. But now we mine for profit as free men, women, thanks to our liberators, thanks to the Empire. So this is a little backstory on Valance, born on some sort of mining planet that was liberated, quote, liberated by the Empire. Obviously, probably didn't turn out very, very well, but this would have been his entrance into the Empire. So we come back to the now, have a couple TIE fighters, and they explode. Valance is in the cockpit of his ship, and he's destroying TIE fighters. The other bounty hunters are basically like, are you insane? What are you doing? So then we have, I completely forgot his name. We'll get to it eventually. So we have one of the bounty hunters. Well, since Silent but Deadly up in the cockpit ain't talking, I'll go ahead and answer your stupid questions, Dengar. First, there were just scouts, and that's flashing light in the cockpit. That's a custom comm jammer. I'd recognize another name I don't want to pronounce today. Work anywhere. Thanks to that, those ties didn't report nothing to nobody before they became space trash. And second, of course Valance is insane. Personally, I like that in a captain. Poor Dengar. First, he's not my captain. Second, scouts aren't usually far from a destroyer. Hana, what do you think of all this? Oink squeak. Fantastic. Oink squeak. So we finally actually get kind of like a little bit more in the way of panels and regarding the ship. It's an interesting ship. It kind of reminds me a little bit more of like a Star Trek ship. It's kind of got like a disc and then some short wings in the back with your two engines or whatever. So all in the back, but the whole front section seems to be more of a disc. It's a cool looking ship. It really is quite cool. So our bounty hunters arrive on the planet Arunya in the Outer Rim. Stay here, Rook. And we get some weird language. Because I don't trust you. I do trust your aim, however. If you see trouble, shoot it. So we are going to Fetya's Hollow. Now, this particular creature is of the same mold as Dex, and we will remember him from the Clone Wars movie. He was one of Obi-Wan's friends. But Fetya is an arms dealer. I was hoping I'd run into you again someday. How are you, old maniac? Guess the hangar job is in the past. Considering you got shot down and held captive instead of me, I'd say we're even. Hell, I probably owe you. And basically, Valance is coming in here for potential weapons and, drops the name of the Hidden Hand because they say, oh, your credit's good. Well, it's not on me. It's on the Hidden Hand. And Fetya sort of has a little bit of monologue here. So I've been running weapons for the Hidden Hand for almost a year now. They got outpost stash in every dark corner of every system. The Hidden Hand don't operate like any syndicate I've worked for. No rules, no limits, no honor. To be honest, they operate more like bounty hunters. And they don't care who they sell to neither. Last shipment, I actually got a look at the buyer. My Hidden Hand contact wouldn't tell me who they were, but I know this symbol means. I know what the symbol means. And it draws out the rebel symbol in the dirt. So we've got a symbol. We have the Rebel Alliance symbol, which is kind of cool. So you're a good guy now, Fetya? I've been in business for decades, Valance. There are no good guys. As he pulls weapons on our bounty hunter friends. I don't know if I want to call them friends yet. And a couple of other thugs pop up with weapons. After the hangar job went belly up, I had nothing. I'm going to enjoy killing you and your friends slowly. Kill them as slow as you want, but if I were you, I'd start running. You really think you're going to get out of this one, Valance? Without even lifting a finger. So we have some explosions. Buildings are being blown apart. And here shows the Empire. Star Destroyer shows up with Vader at the helm. So basically what had happened is Valance destroying those TIE fighters didn't jam the transmissions. He actually amplified the transmissions. He wanted the Empire to show up here. He actually has a plan. He seems relatively smart, but this is part of the plan. So boom, and the building goes up. Our bounty hunters start running, shooting, gunning, and then we've got our sniper here sniping as everybody's in the scramble. I think we're done here. You mean done for? You've killed us all. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. So what is this all? So what? This was all part of your plan? We're hunting Vader, aren't we? Well, there he is. And we see some TIE fighters and Vader's TIE coming down. Some more gunfights. We have our sniper here who's doing a number on these TIEs, just shooting out some of their wings. TIE fighters are a really interesting ship. One day we'll do an episode strictly on ships. I'm actually becoming more and more interested to do that as time passes, but the TIE fighters are actually pretty brittle. Built for speed, built for essentially a suicide run. They don't have shields. They're not very sturdy, but they're fast, they're maneuverable, and they have an armament. So that's the big thing. Vader's TIE is a little bit more well built, but Vader's TIE, which, potentially could be like one of the, if we're talking canon, now technically, and I don't think I really said this, the Target Vader series is not canon, it's Legends, if I read that correctly. So, but this could be like, sort of we obviously Vader had a different TIE in the movies too, but we've got a little bit more elaboration in the Thrawn books, the TIE Defender program, so a little bit more beefed up TIEs. Soon, Vader, soon. As they blast off, and Fetya here, scrambling out of the mess. Scramble the northern outpost. Make sure our supply is protected. Then get me my ship. I'm going to kill that. And his little friend here is killed, and in comes Vader. Back on the ship, What are we doing? Vader is light years away now. Yeah, and so is an Imperial destroyer, Dengar. Now shut up and let the grown-ups talk. I sliced into Fetya's databanks. You were right. She kept records on every delivery she made from the Hidden Hand, all of their hidden outposts. Once Vader is done torturing Fetya, he'll have the data as well. So we know exactly where Vader will be heading next on his tour of destroying the Hidden Hand. We'll get the jump on him. All in, not a bad plan, Valance. Insane, but not bad. So we return to Vader here. We seized all of Fetya's supplies before any could be transported, sir. The Hidden Hand has lost another outpost. More good news, sir. More good news, Lord Vader. Valance must be out of light speed, sir, as we received a transmission from your informant. We know exactly where the bounty hunters are heading. So we could have a little bit of an informant here situation as well, but this is to be continued, and we don't get another issue of this until next month on the 25th. So we've got basically over a month to wait for another issue of this. I'm actually pretty captivated by this comic. Hopefully you guys are interested too, but I really enjoyed this one. It's just long enough. It's just long enough to hold my attention and to keep me interested. Because like even Age of Resistance, no offense to Age of Resistance, but the stories are wrapped up so quickly. I just wish there were just a couple more pages. But this one's just perfect. It's little mini stories, a continuance of mini stories. So I do really enjoy it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. So that's basically our Power Half Hour. Again, hopefully you guys enjoy these little comic walkthroughs. I'm not necessarily trying to do a read through. I did sort of find myself trying to do different voices. And I'm not that sort of person. You won't catch me on Audible anytime soon. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this and let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Twitter is probably the place you'll find me specifically. The Darth usually runs the Facebook. Email, is just email. But if you want to interact, go ahead and follow on Twitter again at TC Plan Podcast. And yeah. I hope you guys just have a good rest of your week. Make sure to check out the main show dropping this following Monday, again, 6 a.m. And as always, may the Force be with you.